Okay, I wasn't gonna make this video until I could do like research and show you guys actual things. I was gonna write a paper, a serious paper, and then have the video to go along with it. But you know what? Fuck this shit. Alright, I'm here to talk about racism in comic books. Mostly DC because that's currently who I'm reading and who's currently fucking all the shit up. And yeah, this is gonna be a ton of cursing because I'm pissed the fuck off right now. Okay? One person of color does not speak out for the majority. If you don't have to feel upset about racism in comic books, then I don't have to give a shit about your opinions as to how you don't feel marginalized. Because I do. Because Jon Stewart's not a monster now. Steele's not a monster now, but I do recall him being portrayed as inferior several times in past canon. Like, just because they don't look monstrous. Characters of color don't get away with shit the way that other characters do. It's the same way in real life, that I'm more likely to be arrested or followed around in a store because of my skin color, okay? Just because, not every black character looks like Crux, however you pronounce his name, does not mean that there's nothing wrong. What it means is that why aren't these writers doing a better job of portraying characters of color? Realistic characters of color. For the longest time, there were only stereotypes, and stereotypes are bad, yeah, right? And a lot of people are like, oh, well, now we have these characters that aren't stereotypes in the comic books, these characters that are black or Indian or whatever, that do not hold on to widely accepted cultural ideas. But there's a lot of bullshit going on in this. Okay, so there aren't as many stereotyping errors going on, Crux isn't from the ghetto, he doesn't wear his pants down by his ass, and he doesn't deal drugs from a corner, right? But in a book where the only people, like they have 2 arms, 2 legs, human features, that turn into monsters aren't the white guys that I've seen. Like, I'm sorry, the main characters. And I love the main cast, okay? I have all of the feelings for them, But the matter remains that this is of the white people in the cast stay white and they stay very attractive throughout the entire movie. It's not fair. And it's not right. And it's racist when you have a book where the only people that wind up deformed or ugly or monstrous during the course of your issues are the brown people. That's racist. And nobody should have to tell Scott Lobdell about any of this because of Monet. He created M. Like, I'm sorry, she was one of the most amazing portrayals of a character of color. I mean, she had a non-stereotypical background, she wasn't like the sassy brown chick, she was real, she had opinions, and she was really kick-ass. And when she used her power, she was still, gorgeous. Like the whole point of this video, right, is because I'm legitimately upset about the fact that it's not being seen as important by people, that there's a shit ton of racism going on in the books, not just with black people, but with people who just aren't white. And there is stereotyping, by the way. Whenever you have a book where your black people are monsters, your brown people are monstrous, it's monstrification. You have seen it in novels, in media from the beginning of time. Have you guys ever heard of The White Man's Burden? Okay, that's a poem by Rudyard Kipling. He wrote the Jungle Book. You guys must remember that. Disney and all that. That was racist sack of shit wrote The White Man's Burden. Because that's what people my color exist for. We exist to help the burden. We have to carry it. So we were beasts of burden. Monsters, maybe? The first issue of Action Comics had stereotypical African descendants. You know, like, people keep saying, oh, we've come so far. Well, we can go fucking further. We don't have to rely on monsters, okay? And, oh, I know, someone will probably go, oh, well, you know, you guys, well, what if we make all the white guys monsters? Then they'll get offended. Okay, good. Then they'll know how I feel when I open an issue of a comic book that I hope to enjoy, that I'm paying money to enjoy, and I see monsters of me, okay? And I can be offended just as somebody else cannot get offended. I am offended. Alright? I am. I'm not going to apologize for that because I see a problem and I think it needs to be fixed. That's how that works. And sure, this isn't the biggest or the most important concern. Think about it. These people who are reading these comic books and seeing black people, Indian people, Native American people, non-white people portrayed physically as lesser, less human, less attractive than their white counterparts are going to feel like shit. And then there are people who will go and assume just the worst, and they won't understand why, about, non-white people. They will assume the worst. These are people that don't read the news, they don't, they read comics. And in comics, I'm a monster. And sure, there are positive portrayals of, African Americans in comics, and that's great. Miles Morales is the best thing. He's just the cutest. And hey, character of color, adorable, precious, perfect, and he's a mainstreamer. But let's not forget, having progressive characters and good books does not excuse the others. Doesn't mean that nothing else is racist. Doesn't mean that we won some nebulous victory because some characters of color are treated better than others. It means we should work towards change. The end.